Hi, Georgie. Aren't you going to say hello?
Hello, Vault Dwellers and fellow horror enthusiasts. Dan here from Retro Vault, and today I'm taking you on a spine-chilling journey back to the movies that absolutely terrified me and you in the 90s. Now, these may not be the scariest movies by today's CGI standards, but back then, they left lasting psychological scars on our developing brains. The 90s were less about slashers and more about getting under your skin. And these films didn't just make you jump, they made you question reality itself. So clap off your clapper and turn off the lights and join me for 13 90s horror movies that scared the crap out of me, and probably you too. This one snuck up on us, literally. Tremors starts out feeling like a comedy western, and then boom, giant flesh worms with taste for trailer parks. As a teen in the 90s, this wasn't the kind of movie that made you afraid of ghosts or demons. It made you afraid of stepping on the ground. And when you're 16 and still riding a BMX everywhere, that's a problem. Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward were the odd couple I didn't even know I needed. And those underground creatures, called graboids, which sounds like something you take for acid reflux, they were genuinely scary. They were practical effects masterpieces, slimy, fast, unpredictable. The mix of humor and horror made Tremors an unexpected hit.
A goddamn bitch! Pardon my French.
And it birthed a whole bunch of direct-to-video sequels. But that original, man, that one wormed its way into our brains.
You know how you got that dent in your top lip? Way back, before you were born. I told you a secret. Then I put my finger there, and I said,
This movie introduced us to a new kind of horror. Biblical horror with walk-in level weirdness. In The Prophecy, angels aren't sweet, harp-playing cherubs. No, they're violent, winged psychos in trench coats. And Walken plays the Archangel Gabriel like he's one bad day away from a metal album cover. You know, as a kid raised on Sunday school and touched by an angel, this movie hit a bit differently. The idea that angels could be these cold, cruel warriors was so disturbing it messed me up more than any slasher. And don't even get me started on how they sat on things. Add in Viggo Mortensen as a seductive, whispery Satan.
Hello, Catherine. We must talk.
Yeah, no thanks. I slept with a Bible on my chest for a week. The Prophecy, it's still underrated today, but in the 90s, it felt like we unearthed something we weren't supposed to watch, like horror fan contraband. Look, Misery may not be supernatural, but it might be the most realistically terrifying movie on this list. I mean, you've got this crazy fan, an isolated house, and a best-selling author with 2 broken legs. And that's it. And somehow, it's absolutely horrifying. I saw this at a friend's house when I was too young and just couldn't sleep for 2 nights. Kathy Bates earned an Oscar the old-fashioned way, by making me terrified by middle-aged ladies with dollies and soup bowls. The hobbling scene? I can still hear it now. Misery taught us that sometimes the scariest monsters, they don't wear masks. They wear cardigans and call you Mr. Man. This one doesn't go boo. It crawls into your brain and sets up shop. Jacob's Ladder was the first movie that made me question reality as a teen. I thought it was just a Vietnam drama. Instead, we got hallucinations, demons with twitchy heads, and enough existential dread to require a guidance counselor. Tim Robbins plays a vet haunted by memories, and the entire film feels like a waking nightmare. It blurs life, death, war, grief, and whatever those freaky things were in the hospital basement. This is the movie that made me realize horror doesn't need a killer. It just needs confusion and trauma. And trust me, if you saw this in the 90s, you know, once you watch it, you never stop watching it.
Oh my God, but you can see her?
Yes.
Where is she?
Standing next to my window.
Well, you're scaring me.
They scare me too sometimes.
Say what you want about twist endings, but when this movie dropped in '99, it hit like a psychic punch to the gut. I don't think many people slept well for a week, and not because of the ghosts, but because of the quiet, the stillness, the dread. M. Night Shyamalan's breakout film made whispering terrifying.
I see dead people.
Bruce Willis played it so straight, and we didn't see that twist coming. And Haley Joel Osment, that kid acted circles around the grown-ups and made dead people scarier than any masked slasher. It turned horror into something sad, quiet, and just deeply personal. And that made it all the more chilling. If you were a horror fan in the 90s and someone handed you a bootleg copy of Ringu, you watched it immediately. And then spent the next 7 days thinking your TV was plotting against you. You see, Ringu didn't just scare us. It rewired how we thought about horror. The minimalism, the silence, and the fact that Sadako, it didn't run, it just glided. And don't even get me started on that tape. It's like a cursed art school project. This was an introduction to J-horror, and it was unlike anything American horror was doing at the time. It didn't just go for jump scares. It made you uncomfortable and feeling doomed. And that just stuck with us long after the credits rolled.
You look a little blurry there. Let me zoom out on you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Got it?
Okay, I got you.
This is my home.
Okay.
This was the movie that weaponized not showing anything. And somehow, that made it worse. The Blair Witch Project came out when I was in my 20s, and thanks to the internet still being this weird puberty phase, people legit thought this was real. And I remember coworkers arguing about whether or not these kids had actually vanished. It wasn't found footage, it was found fear. The film gave you no monsters, no gore, but just dread, just this oppressive forest, endless bickering, and piles of these creepy stick figures that now live rent-free in your nightmares. And that ending shot, it's still one of the most terrifying freeze frames in horror history.
Oh my God. What happened to your eyes?
Where we're going, we won't need eyes to see.
If 2001 A Space Odyssey had a baby with Hellraiser, and that baby grew up watching Nine Inch Nails music videos, you've got Event Horizon. This movie lured me in with sci-fi premise, cool ship, black hole physics, Lawrence Fishburne looking commanding, and then, bam, blood orgies, demonic hallucinations, and Sam Neill mutilating himself like he's auditioning to be Pinhead's intern. It was the first time I realized that horror could exist in space, and that the scariest thing out there wasn't aliens. It was what you bring with you. That ship just didn't go to another dimension. It went to hell and came back horny for souls. Event Horizon was a box office flop, but became the movie we passed around like a dare. I mean, it still gives me goosebumps when I hear Latin chanting.
There are 7 deadly sins, Captain. Gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, pride, lust, and envy.
Here's another one that didn't have any ghosts or demons or even serial killers in hockey masks. It had something worse. Real evil. Methodical evil. The kind that's smart, quiet, and just completely detached from humanity. When I saw Seven, it didn't scare me during the movie. I think it scared me days afterwards, like when I was brushing my teeth or walking past a cardboard box. Kevin Spacey's performance is just so chilling.
He didn't know.
But it's the mood of this film that makes it unforgettable. Just the constant rain and the dark, dirty city. The feeling that the world is just broken and we're all just pretending it's fine. Kind of sounds like today, doesn't it? That final twist, that wasn't just horror. That was despair. And I was not ready for what was in the box.
I saw you with the box. What was in the box?
You found Mina. I thought she was lost. We're to be married as soon as I return. Are you married, Count? Sir?
Man, this movie is just pure gothic decadence. Francis Ford Coppola went just full madman here. He had such saturated colors, flowing camera work, just over the top everything. Gary Oldman's Dracula, it's simultaneously terrifying and tragic. The guy goes from romantic prince to bloodthirsty demon like mid-scene. It's one of the few horror movies that's scary and beautiful, and the practical effects still hold up today better than 99% of modern CGI. Also, a shout out to Keanu Reeves' accent.
Are the owner of Carfax Abbey at Purfleet. Congratulations.
Which might have been the scariest thing in the whole movie.
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Wes Craven brought horror back with this one and made us fear our own landline in the process. Scream dropped like a bomb. I was 22 when I saw it, and I thought I'd seen it all. And then came this meta horror slasher that was just smart, brutal, and self-aware without being annoying. It made horror cool again. Suddenly it was okay to be a horror nerd. Scratch that. It was awesome. That opening scene with Drew Barrymore, Hitchcock would have applauded. You just don't kill the star in the first 10 minutes. But Scream did, and let us know that the rules had forever changed. The ghost face mask became iconic overnight, and suddenly, every party I went to had at least one guy with a voice changer and just a bit too much enthusiasm.
Oh, this one! It's a Scream, baby! Hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
Morning.
Dr. Lecter, my name is Clarice Starling. May I speak with you?
You're one of Jack Crawford's, aren't you?
I am, yes.
This is what psychological horror looks like when it's done perfectly. I don't even know if you call it horror anymore. It's just essential cinema. Hannibal Lecter wasn't a monster in the shadows. No, he was charming, articulate, and classy. And yet, it's just completely terrifying. You know, watching this as a teenager, I realized that the scariest thing about horror isn't what jumps out at you. It's what smiles at you and makes you lean in just before it takes a bite. The movie was so classy, it actually won Oscars and still made me check my locks every night. I mean, let's not forget about Buffalo Bill and that goodbye horses scene. That rewired my brain permanently.
And balloons, too. All colors.
Do they float?
Oh, yes. They float, Georgie. They float.
If you were a kid in the 90s, this wasn't just a movie. This was shared trauma. I was 16 and I watched it on TV with the lights off. Total big mistake. I didn't sleep for like a week thinking about the dead lights. I mean, I avoided drains, balloons, and Tim Curry's entire career for like years. I mean, that clown, it wasn't funny. He was cosmic horror in clown shoes. The TV budget, okay, so it held it back in places, right? But really, none of that mattered. Tim Curry's Pennywise was so terrifying, he transcended production value. I mean, he's the reason an entire generation still fears clowns to this day. And the worst part, I don't think he died. I think he just went back to sleep, just waiting another 28 years. You know, the 90s weren't just about teen slashers and grunge music. They were a golden era for psychological horror and movies that dared to mess with your head. I mean, these films didn't just scare us in the moment. They haunted us for a lifetime. Whether it was a clown in the sewers or demons in the mirror, the fear just felt real. And if you were a horror kid like me, born in the early 70s, you felt every jump scare, every whisper, and every twist in your soul. But before you go, here are a few more movies that scared the crap out of me. If any of these movies scared the crap out of you too, why don't you drop your horror origin story in the comments? And until next time, this is Dan from Retro Vault, and keep it weird, folks.